Where is everyone this morning? Did you guys go to PE this morning? Emily, I know you're having problems. Camden, were you in PE this morning?
Couldn't get in today.
Just wondering if PE went long and that's why we're... Here we go. All right, we'll go just a few more seconds, then I'm switching sides on the homework. Get this side corrected. All right, other side. If you came in late and didn't get a chance to finish, I will get it posted to Otis for you. All right. Any questions from either side of the homework? I don't see any in the chat. Go ahead and shout it out if you have a question.
Not done. Not done.
Nothing. Piece of cake? Can you guys hear me? Let's make sure that works.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
can't hear you guys. What's going on? Amaya, go ahead and talk.
Hello?
I see you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Oh, hang on.
Can you?
Let me do this,
Hello?
maybe. Now try it, Amaya.
Hello?
No, I can't hear you guys today. What's going
I didn't
on?
say anything. Sorry.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing that I can't
Yo,
hear?
yo, yo, can you hear this?
Let me do that. Oh,
Can you hear me?
there you are.
Can you hear me?
I turned the TV connection off. I don't know why that wasn't working that way. All right, Dean, did you have a question on math?
Still not done.
Ashlyn, do you have a question? I see your hands up.
Can you flip to the first page?
I will post it to Otis so you can go back there and check it out. Or you can pull up the recorded video of this lesson and you can check it there, okay? We gotta keep on moving. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at math today. Today for math, they're throwing in a couple of properties that you've learned about in the past. So this is a bit of a review, but I know that it's really hard to remember the names of these properties and what they mean. So really that is our goal throughout this lesson, is to be able to come away and say, oh, the commutative property, that's the one where the order of my numbers doesn't matter. Or, oh, the associative property, that's the one where I can group them differently and it doesn't matter how they're grouped, I'll still get the same answer. Okay, so those two words that I used, the order and the grouping, those are the words that I remember a lot easier than commutative and associative, right? These fancy math names. So next to them, you might want to make a little note. Commutative is the order property. The order does not matter. And associative is our grouping property. It doesn't matter how we group them, we're still going to have the same answer. Okay? Yes.
Your screen is frozen. You're still on the math page.
Am I frozen for everybody?
Yes.
No, not for me.
It's
Just on the
Oh, no, not anymore.
It wasn't frozen, but it was on the homework page because I could see your mouse moving.
okay.
Oh, did it
Now
go?
can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So commutative is order, associative is grouping. Okay. So let me bring this window back up and this window back up. So the way that I remember them, because I have a hard time also with these, is commutative and associative. I look at those in alphabetical order. Well, what comes first alphabetically? Commutative or associative? Associative comes first alphabetically, right? If I was going to be writing these in alphabetical order, associative would be first. Yes, I'm bringing some language arts into your math lesson today, folks. How about group order? Which one of those is first alphabetically?
Group.
Group. So do you see how the one that comes first alphabetically pairs with the more common term that comes first alphabetically? Honestly, that is how I remember them. That's the trick that I use to help me remember them. If I'm thinking, okay, is this associative or commutative? Which is which? Well, associative comes first alphabetically, and so does grouping comes first alphabetically. So I know that those two go together. Where commutative comes second alphabetically, and so does order, so I know that those two pair up. Okay? Whatever you guys need to do to remember that associative is grouping and commutative is order, that's what you're going to do. Okay? I saw that there's a question on the homework. I'll come back to that at the very end. So if you had a question on the homework, hang tight and we'll pick that back up at the very end of the lesson today, okay? So commutative property, that's the one where we said the order doesn't matter. A plus B is the same as B plus A. Letters are sometimes hard to look at when we look at math. So I'm gonna write a couple numbers in here just to show me what it looks like in numbers. That means 3 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 3. It doesn't matter which order I'm adding or, well, subtracting would matter. It doesn't matter which order I'm adding them in. my answer is still going to be the same. Okay, that's our commutative property, which is our order property. Associative property would be like 1 plus 2 in parentheses plus 3. Because, right, we do the stuff in parentheses first. Right, guys? We do what's in the parentheses first. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. They're saying that's the same as 1 plus 2 plus 3. See how all I did was move my parentheses? The only thing that changed was the parenthesis placement. Do my parentheses first. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. Those are the same. It didn't matter where my parentheses were. Okay? Why are we doing this? We're doing this because sometimes this can help us solve bigger problems with mental math without having to write them down. Okay? So what that means is when I look at a problem like this, I'm going to think, okay, could I regroup this? Could I add this in a different order to make it a little bit easier to solve? I think I can. And here's how I would solve this first one. I would look at my 3 plus my 2. What's 3 plus 2?
5.
5, yes. I'm going to add 8 plus 7. What's 8 plus 7?
15.
15. Okay. See how I'm kind of regrouping this when I add it? What's 15 plus 5?
20.
20.
Now, can I add 20 and 49 easily?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
20 plus 49. What's 20 plus 49?
69.
69. So my answer is going to be 69,000. Okay. I reordered it to try and get things that I could add together easier or easily. Okay. Let's look at this one over here. Over here, I have, let's see, what might I add? Ooh, 1.2 and 1.3. What's 1.2 and 1.3?
1.5.
I left a 0 off of this one. Let's adjust this over a little bit. There we go. Yes, it's, well, 2.5, right? If I add that 2 and the 3 together, that's 5/10. And if I add my 1s together, that's a whole. Can I add 2.5 and 1.5?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, and that gives you 3 wholes.
What was that? 2.5 and 1.5.
That gives you 4 wholes.
4, right? A half plus a half is a whole. And then 2 plus 1 plus that other whole is 4. Now, can I add 4 to my 1 and 6 and 7/8?
Yes.
What's that going to be?
678,000.
Yes. Okay. So again, we just added them in a different order. Okay. I did this one over here all wrong. Hang on. Let's come back to this one. Here we go. Teacher brain not working. Because this is really like 50 and this is 150. So what's 50 plus 150?
200.
200. Okay. Now we want to add our 200,000 plus 49,000. Can you do that easily?
Yeah. 249,000.
249,000. Yep. In doing it quickly, I forgot about my zeros. All right. How about this next one? Let's see. Are there some things that we could add together first to make it a little bit easier? Well, I see a 2,500ths and a 7,500ths. What's that equal?
1 whole.
1 whole.
That equals 1 whole. So I'm going to put a hole up here and I'm going to cross those out because I've dealt with those already. What if I added my 4/10 and my 6/10 together? What's that equal?
1 whole.
1 whole, another hole. I'm going to cross those out, and I'm going to put another hole up there. So all that leaves me with is my 1700ths on the decimal side, right? And over here I have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. What's that?
77. 12.
27.
27, yes. I have 5 5s. 5 times 5 is 25. Plus 2 is 27. Okay. It's okay if you don't understand this yet. We're still going, okay? We're still going. Carter, do you have a question?
That was what I was going to ask. I don't understand one part of this.
Okay. All we're doing is we are looking for patterns right now in our adding and subtracting. That'll make it a little bit easier for us. So we're trying to group things together that will make it easier for us to add or subtract. So on this one, I'm going to look, because these are all fractions, I'm going to look for fractions that have the same denominator. So I see I have 1/6 and 5/6. What's 1/6 plus 5/6?
1 whole.
1 whole, 6 6, right? But that's the same as 1 whole. Let's see. Oh, I have 3/4 and 1/4. What's 3/4 plus 1/4?
1 whole.
1 whole.
1 whole.
So look at that. Without even having to find common denominators, I can solve this problem just by rearranging the order that I'm adding them. Because now the only fraction I have left is my 5/11ths. So I have 5/11ths and I have my 2 wholes that I changed those other into. So the answer would be 2 and 5/11ths. Okay. The main thing that we're doing on these, like I said, is just finding ways to rearrange these longer math problems so we can add them easier or subtract them easier, okay? Let's keep going. This is not necessarily what all of your homework is going to be, so don't get too stressed out about this, okay? Let's take a look down here. 8 million plus 39 million plus 2 million. Well, which two of those would you add together first if you were trying to make this easier for you to solve?
8 million and 2 million.
8 million and 2 million, because what's 8 million plus 2 million?
10 million.
10 million.
10 million, you got it. And now can I add 10 and 39 together easily?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, what's 10 and 39?
49.
49 million.
Oh my gosh.
So we took our 8 and our 2 and we combined them. Okay. Notice how we're trying to find things that add up to like 10 or to 1 whole, because those are numbers that we can deal with easier. Okay. Instead of doing, okay, well, 8 plus 39, let's see, that is 47 plus 2 more, 48, 49. We did 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 39. Okay. Let's look at this next one. I have 40 hundredths, 8 and 56 hundredths, and 60 hundredths. What could I add together first to make this one easier?
Hundredths plus 60 hundredths.
I would add my 40 hundredths and my 60 hundredths, right? If you want to look at what that looks like, 40 hundredths and 60 hundredths. What's 40 hundredths plus 60 hundredths?
1 whole.
1 whole.
100.
So now I have another whole over here. So I have just 56 hundredths left. And 8 plus 1 is?
9.
9. 9 and 56 hundredths. Okay. How about our next one? 8 ninths plus 5 and 1/5 plus 1 ninth. What are you going to want to add together first?
8 ninths and 1 ninth.
8 ninths and 1 ninth. What's 8 ninths plus 1 ninth?
A whole.
A whole. So now I have 5 and 1/5 plus 1.
6 and 1/5.
6 and 1/5. You got it. Okay. We're just rearranging the way the problems are written to help us solve them easier. We are changing the order. We're using the commutative property. We're changing the order that they're written in so we can solve them a little bit easier. Let's take a look at the back side. They're changing properties up on us because that wasn't enough. Now they want us to look at another property. The next property is the distributive property. I don't have a fancy word for this distributive property, sorry. Distributive property, multiplication over addition. With the distributive property, you're taking numbers and you're breaking them down into smaller chunks. So when I look at a problem like 8, it has 7 times 25 plus 7 times 75. So to do the distributive property, I'm going to pull out the thing that they both have in common. These both have a 7 in there, right? They're both something times 7. So for the distributive property, I can rewrite that with just 1 7. I don't need both of them still. I can just do 1 7. And I'm going to do 7 times, and then in my parentheses is where I'm going to have my 25 and my 75. 25 plus 75. Now, which of these would be easier to solve? 7 times 25 plus 7 times 75? Or 7 times 25 plus 75?
7 times.
7 times 25 plus 75.
What is 25 plus 75?
100.
And 100 times 7?
700.
700, right? So we pulled out that thing that they both had in common, and then we added the other two numbers together because they have that addition sign in the middle of them. On number 9, what is the number they both have in common?
9.
9. So I'm going to pull out my 9, and I'm going to say 9 times, what's going to go in parentheses?
800. 200.
800 plus 200. Can I solve that one pretty easily? What's 800 plus 200?
1,000.
1,000 times 9.
9,000.
9,000.
There you go. Okay, so that's our distributive property. We're just we're pulling out what they have in common, and we're adding the other two together to make it easier to solve. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 10. Use what you know about the commutative property. Which property was the commutative property? Is that order or grouping?
Order.
Order. Say it like you mean it. It's the order property. We're going to use it to solve for n. So the order doesn't matter. So they have 968 and 73 hundredths plus 532 and 15 hundredths equals 532 and 15 hundredths plus what number? Well, so that equal sign is like a balance, right? It's like the center of a balance. So whatever's on this side has to equal whatever's on this side. Both sides have that 532 and 1500. So both sides are balanced right now. But one side has 968 and 73 hundredths. So what do I need on this other side for it to stay balanced?
968 and 7.73.
$7,300.
I like how I heard some of you say it. I heard a point in there. Remember, we don't say point. That doesn't sound mathematical. We have to say and. Yes, we need both these sides to be the same. So these both have 532 and 15 hundredths. This side has 968 and 73 hundredths. This side does not. So that's what we need to put on that side to make them both equal. So our equal sign is correct. That's the center of the balance. So whatever's missing, we fill in. Okay. That's our commutative property. Next couple are associative property. Okay. Carter, do you have a question?
I still don't understand this.
Okay.
I'm trying to listen.
What's that?
I still don't understand this. I'm trying to listen, but I keep getting distracted.
Okay, maybe if you're in a place in your house where you get distracted easily, maybe see if you can find a new place. And we're still going over it, Carter. We're not done yet. And as soon as I finish this page, I am going to work on the homework with those of you who want to stay on and work on homework together. So if you're still confused after we finish these sample problems from the workbook, stay on and we'll do the homework pages together also, okay? All right. So associative property, is that grouping or order?
Grouping.
Grouping.
Yes, it's grouping. Because right now, I would have to add 749 plus 600 first. Is that the best way to solve this problem?
No.
No, what would I want to do instead?
600 plus 400.
I would want to add 600 plus 400 first. That makes more sense. What's 600 plus 400?
1,000.
1,000. 1,000 plus 749.
1,700.
749.
You got it. How about on this next one? How should I regroup it?
30
100
and 20
30
and 2.2 and 800.
So I'm adding 3 and 20 hundredths
3 and 20.
plus 2 and 80 hundredths.
80.
Add that together first. What's that equal?
6.
6
6.
plus 1 and 37 hundredths.
7 and 3700.
7 and 37 hundredths. Awesome. All right. Now here's where they kind of mess things up a little bit in the book. Not really, but. So they want us to find the distributive property, to find the area. How do we find area?
Multiply.
Oh, I
You
see.
multiply the width and the length.
Yes, I take back my statement. I thought they were having me do just the area of this one and just the area of this one. I didn't read the directions very well because they want the combined area. So what do both of these rectangles have in common?
They both have a
10.
They both have a 10. So I'm going to say 10 times, what two numbers do I need to add together?
199 and 101.
199 and 101. And that's going to help me figure it out. Instead of doing, okay, this is 1,990, this is 1,010, and then adding those together. What's 199 plus 101?
300.
100.
What is it?
300.
300.
100 times 10. 300 times 10.
3000.
3,000.
3,000.
There you go. So we pulled out what they both had in common. They both had a 10. So that went on the outside. And then I added together the other numbers that they had that were different from each other. All right, 2 word problems down below. We don't actually need to solve them. We just need to talk about which property best describes the situation. Is this a commutative, an associative, or a distributive property problem? Okay, so Miranda cannot add $56.73 plus $8 plus $2 very easily. She regroups the problem, $56.73 plus $8 plus $2. Which property did she use?
Associative.
I heard one person. Go ahead and type it in the chat. What property did she use by regrouping?
Associative.
I'm waiting to see that chat start rolling. You can just put the first letter also. There they go. It's not asking for the answer, just which property. We have the associative property. There we go. And Brady, my child, did not know the answer to 2 times 43. So he broke a factor into 2 addends and multiplied each addend by the other factor. That sounds fancy. Then he added the 2 products together. So we had 2 times 400 plus 2 times 3. Which property do you think that is? Just type in the first digit. Not the first digit, the first letter, but. This one's written a little bit differently from the other ones that we've been doing. But this is the distributive property. Yes, I see you guys are getting it. This one is the distributive property. Okay. All right, don't leave. We're going to talk real quick about stretch your thinking from last night's homework, because I had a question on that earlier. It said, write a subtraction equation with a difference of 54 and 57 hundredths. So to find that, the way I did it is I took my 54 and 57 hundredths and I just picked some random number to add to it. I added 33 and 9 hundredths. Okay, because subtraction is the opposite of addition, right? Those two are family facts. So if I did that, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I have my equation I can use for my subtraction because I know 87 and 6600 minus 33 and 9 hundredths is going to equal 54 and 57 hundredths. So those are the steps that I took to create my equation. The second part to this problem wanted you to draw a number line to show between which two whole numbers the difference lies. Well, 54 and 57 hundredths is between 54 and 55. That's all they wanted from that. They wanted a number line where you show where 54 and 57 hundredths would lie. Okay. Tonight's homework, let's see, there's some solving up top here. Use what you know about the commutative property to solve for n. So what is n going to equal to keep those two sides balanced? Let's look at the first one. 26,184 plus 1,546 equals 1,546 plus what? Because they both have this matching. We've got that equal sign in the middle, so we have to keep it balanced. They both have that 1,546. The part that's missing on the other side is the 26,184. How about this next one? Let's do this one together also. 17 and 39 hundredths plus 12 and 58 hundredths equals 12 and 58 hundredths plus what?
17 and 39 and 3900.
Yes, they both have this part, but only this side has the 17 and 39 hundredths. So that's going to be my answer for there. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Regroup the numbers using the associative property, associative regrouping, and then add. So I'm going to want to move my parentheses, right? I'm going to want to move them over to here because I want to add together those fourths. What's 3/4 plus 1/4?
A whole or 4/4.
A whole. So now I have 7/10 plus 1 whole. What's 7/10 plus 1 whole?
1 whole and 7/10.
1 and 7/10. Okay. So you're going to regroup all of these. I'm going to move my parentheses. I'm going to move my parentheses. And then I'm going to do my adding. Let's look at our distributive property one down here. We're going to rewrite the problem so it has only two factors. So what do both of these have in common?
Both have 9.
They both have 9s. You got it. So I'm going to pull out my 9 and I'm going to say 9 times. What am I going to add together inside those parentheses?
75 plus 24.
25.
25 plus 75. Yes, you guys need to find that answer. Okay. Down below, it's telling you to group the numbers to make it easier to add. But here's the thing, guys. If this is not making any sense to you, just add them normally. Okay, just add them normally. If you're not seeing ways to regroup, it's okay. You can still solve these problems even if you don't know how to regroup them. Okay, I'm going to continue working on this with anybody who wants to stay online. Right now, I want you guys to pull out your planners so we can write in our planners though. We have math, homework and remembering, 39 to 40. Make sure you take your break at 10 and that you're back at 10:20. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to keep going on the math homework if you want to stay online and keep working on it with me. I'm not going to do all of them under the screen, so you're just copying my answers. I am going to ask for your participation in solving them. Okay? Carter, I see your hand is up. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right, so if you guys are good and you know what you're doing, you can log off and get going. Otherwise, hang out for a minute and we'll solve some more together.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Bye, you guys. Bye.